when you look at why people give allowances, they often tie them to chores for their kids. But in our house, there's a small set of chores my kids do, but they're kind of in the spirit of like, this is your responsibility as a person in the household. I don't get paid to take my plate to the sink, and I'm not going to pay you to take your plate to the sink either. I'm Emily Oster. I'm a professor of economics at Brown University. I tend to approach problems with data. So the first thing I did was look to see, is there any research or information that I can use to try to answer this question? And what I found was there's very little research that would say, allowances make your kids superheroes or allowances are terrible in some way. The reason I was so resistant to the idea of an allowance, even a small allowance that wouldn't be a significant financial burden, was I sort of didn't like the idea of my kids just getting some money like for nothing. The first thing we put together was, okay, well, if I give my kids allowance, then I'll just say, you have to spend your allowance on that. Like, it's fine to buy the extra gems in the mermaid puzzle bubble app, but that's going to be your $1.99, not my $1.99. And then that was going to be a sort of way to both restrict something about how much they could get, but also to teach them some value about the idea that like money has value. And the second thing that I realized was this was an opportunity for some learning about some charitable giving. And so when we give them an allowance, there is an automatic 10% tax on the allowance that goes into a charitable bucket. My daughter is 10 and my son is 6. They get $3 a week. So far, my older child has not spent any of her money. My younger child has purchased one app add-on. It cost $1.99. What was interesting is that my daughter kind of decided to like record it on the wall. And yet she hasn't had any interest in spending any of it. She's the older one, and then for my younger one. I think there was a moment the other day when he was like, can't you buy me a subscription to this thing? Face Sear, which is some kind of like app where you can switch or make your face look like a baby or something. I don't know. I was like, that app is $22.99 a month for reasons I fail to understand. I was like, you don't have $22.99 a month. And then he had a few minutes where he was like, I'm going to save for that. But then like by the next day, he was like, $22.99, that's a lot of money. I was like, yeah, it is. So, maybe we're learning something. It has made it much easier for me to say no to some things, to just say like, it's totally fine. If you want to get that, you have to spend your allowance. So we were at the bookstore the other day and my daughter said, can I get this pin? And I was like, absolutely. It's $1.50. You can spend your allowance on that. And she was like, I'm not going to spend $1.50 on that. I was like, okay, great. Well, I guess we're not getting it. We don't always like work with our kids to understand how much, like what different amounts of money are, and sort of where is it, like how much does this thing actually cost? What is expensive? What is not expensive? And I think that it sort of can help you sort of bring about some of those conversations about, why can we have this thing and not this other thing? And what, it seems very abstract when you're like buying on the internet, like this is $59.99 or $69.99, but actually that's like quite a lot of money. And quite a lot more than something that's $15.99. And I think there's an opportunity to use kids' own control of their money to help them understand why budgeting is important.